3 television networks will present nearly 10,000 hours of original programming this year. Not reruns, original programming. That's more hours than there are in an entire year. Now add programs produced by public television, local affiliates, and independents. Well, nobody could watch it all, and that's the point. There is a choice, and it's your choice. American television and you.
Coming up on New Love American Style, all new stories about all kinds of love. There's love at the office.
Smells beautiful.
What?
Oh, computers. Smell beautiful. I must make a note of that.
There's love in the personal ads.
Not easy pouring out your soul in 25 words or less.
And there's the love of Cupid's touch.
You headed uptown, Linda? You headed uptown, Linda? Enjoy.
New Love American Style weekdays.
Who's working hard to give you your best deal? Ford!
And your Ford dealer is going all out to save you money during his 7.9 Plus Sell-a-thon. Save big with low 7.9% financing on a tough Ford Ranger with the widest cab in its class. Or combine the savings of this specially equipped F-150 with 7.9% financing and save almost $1,800. So, come in now for your best deal.
Get 7.9% financing plus a whole lot more.
Hurry, ends February 22nd. See your Ford dealer today.
Take 2 with Heritage Cablevision. Take 2. Get a special package price when you take 2 Heritage Premium channels. 2. Choose from movies and specials on HBO, Cinemax, and Showtime, plus family entertainment on the Disney Channel. Any 2 premium channels with Heritage Basic Service at a money-saving package price. Take 2. Call today and find out how you can take 2 and save. 246-1555.
I left out one very small detail.
Tell me quick.
Got no reputation for toughness. Once in your life, you had to have hit somebody. That's not a good detail to leave out, Bond.
Donahue in Iowa, tomorrow on 5 TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, watching us around the country, I am pleased to greet you from the heart of your heartland. If we don't make it here, you don't eat. This is Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Now, here's the bad news. We got a whole bunch of proud Americans here who are in the fight of their lives. We have underway, as I don't have to tell anybody who hasn't living in a cave, the changing of our national landscape. Now, what kind of agricultural community do you want? Let me ask the most aggressive and upsetting question of all, in my limited judgment. Saving the family farm by using public money is a little like saving 4 McDonald's on one street corner. That's not the way the system works. We admire your patriotism. We admire the fact that you've always been the first to send your sons to war. We admire that you almost never cheat on your income tax. And for sure, we admire your efficiency. Nobody does it like you do. Nobody does it better. From fence to fence, you have the greatest yield, the best kind of product in the history of agriculture around the world. But unfortunately, you look up now in the 80s, and what appears to be happening is too many farms for the market that's available, and many of you are standing to say that you think public monies should be used to keep your heritage alive. And other beleaguered taxpayers in America are saying, we love you, but we don't think that's fair. Yeah.
I just wanted to say that I'm questioning, or I don't understand why farmers are viewed as being different than other businessmen, and that other businessmen who provide us with valuable services aren't asking for the kind of assistance that farmers are, and I'm concerned.
Because we are the only people who don't set our own prices. We go out and say, what will you give us for our corn today? What will you give us for our beans? These other people send us a bill. We pay it. asking for money free. We're asking for a loan to pay it back.
But your loan came on prices that were inflated and peaked in 1980, and now the bottom has fallen out of your collateral. I mean, doesn't everybody know that? And the banker is saying, but you must pay the rent. And you're saying, but I can't pay the rent. But you must pay the rent. Here we are now. Now, what are you going to do about it?
We're fighting to save the family farms instead of having corporate farming. Because if we have corporate farming, we will, all the big cities and everybody, fight, or will be suffering because you guys are going to be paying $50 a pound for hamburger, and that's going to hurt everybody, not just the farmers.
Agribusiness is going to be in charge of the marketplace of agriculture.
Mm-hmm. Corporations.
And okay, but what's going to happen?
All right, right now, down in southwest Iowa, there is a corporation that rented about 20,000 acres.
Right.
They didn't farm. They raped our land.
They're not sensitive to soil conservation and others. Is that your point?
Right. That and the fact that they used seed corn that had, what, a 30% germination.
So the larger the farm, the less the competition, huh?
They federal cropped it. In other words, they went into farming so they could collect a big insurance.
Over the next fiscal quarter, they're not...
Well, in 85.
Yeah, and they're not worried about the long term here.
Yeah, they don't care about the land.
So we're going to look up and see a great big dust bowl in the Midwest?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
We're not just trying to save the family farm. We're trying to save America. We're setting ourselves on fire out here because we're trying to warn this nation of a tidal wave that has already come across us, coming across our small towns, and it's coming your way, whether you want to know it or not. And you better face it. And we're not asking for the government to give us money. I don't want your damn charity. I don't want your subsidies. I want a price in the market. We do not want the government subsidies. We have subsidized the consumers. I mean, they're only paying 17% of their disposable income after taxes on food, and other countries spend 60 to 70%.
And you're competing with other countries that are very well subsidized.
Yeah, and their labor force, I mean, they've got labor forces that are working for $1, $2 a day.
Yeah, well, you know, the automobile people make the same point.
And just think of all the cars we could buy if we had money. I mean, there's so many things we could do.
Meet Richard and Carolyn Hauser. The Hausers are just like you, farmers. They happen to farm in Griswold, Iowa. They lost their farm last spring. Richard works at a local crisis hotline. Boy, you must hear I'm telling you, you'll never forget this experience, I'm sure. You're members of the Farm Unity Coalition. You wanted to say what, Richard?
Came out of the crowd. Low prices, the subsidy system that's set up is mainly due to incompetent government policy over the last 20, 30, almost 40 years that's led us into this situation. And the only way we're going to get out of it is not necessarily to get government out completely, but to get government to give us some decent framework within the legislative law so we can control our destiny.
We have an administration that wants the marketplace to work here. Better widgets, better mousetraps, get the business.
What we have is...
What you have is what, Mrs. Hauser? I'm sorry, somebody said what you have. Go ahead, make your point. Yes, ma'am.
What we have is a government that all these people here today are talking about subsidizing farmers. What the government is subsidizing is their cheap food policy. Out of this so-called, everybody keeps referring to this as the Farm Bill, and what it is a food act. 58% of that farm bill went to food stamps. 5% went to food for Puerto Rico. 5% went for food for peace. Another 10% went to administration of all the USD programs. You're not subsidizing the farmer. You're subsidizing the consumer in the grocery store. And everybody is going to feel it not only in their pocketbooks, but their stomachs.
Yeah. Guess who's here? The president of the Iowa Bankers Association. How'd you like his job? He is also president of the First National Bank in Dubuque, an independent bank. Is that right, sir? That's correct. You are Bruce Meriwether, and I wouldn't have your job, sir, for anything. You want to make a sure. First of all, it's not the bank's money, is it?
No, it isn't the bank's money, but I think people in Iowa understand that. Because the relationship between community banks, which we are, commercial, community, independent for the most part banks, and not the generic term of credit union, savings and loans, farmers home, and all those kinds of things. The community banks in this Iowa, in this state, have supported agriculture. And I want to agree on the government issue. It isn't subsidy that we're looking for. I think it is a practical staying in there till we can get out into the free market system, but not to dump us after putting us in this position.
Yeah, you say put us in this position.
They were quick to bail out Chrysler and the car dealers. Continental Illinois National Bank.
Yeah, right.
They're not looking strongly at agriculture.
Right. How do you explain? You're a money guy. How do you explain that the stock market is going through the roof? Happy days are here again on Wall Street. We never had it so good. 1,600 plus. You know, is there something we don't understand in New York City, or is it that however difficult your problem right now, it's going to shake out? Certainly it's going to bring a lot of pain to people, but in the long run it's not going to make a dent in the way the big wheel turns in the economic picture in America.
There's a great hype, I think, coming out of the administration and government that says there's a great recovery going on in this country. I heard it last week from the president of the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago, and I asked him, if things are so good, then why are they so bad in the heartland?
Yeah, how do you explain that? Why don't you offer your explanation, Mr. Merrill?
Because I don't believe that the equity and understanding has prevailed in Washington. I'm not anti-Washington.
It appears we're not insensitive to your problem.
Yes, we are insensitive to our problem.
Farmers don't want taxpayers' money to bail us out. We want a fair and just price. And the economic system is doing this to us. The farmers aren't failing America. The economic system is failing the business and the farmer. We need a fair price.
Yeah. And how do you get that, sir? You can't just say what you need. How do you get it?
Congressional action put us in this position. Congressional action can take us out. We, the people of America, need to be recognized as carrying this great America.
Yes, sir.
I want to address why our Congress is not being responsive to the people. It's being responsive to corporate pressure from these large grain companies that are putting a pressure on, telling them to depress our prices through the USDA and other government agencies.
Yeah, Phil, I was back in Washington.
Mr. Hauser, sir.
But I was back in Washington in September.
We're on the stage. If we could have the mic on the stage, please. Mr. Hauser, sir.
When I was back in Washington in September lobbying, what that man said is exactly what was going on. The farmers go talk to the congressman. We'd walk out, and all these people in the three-piece suits would step in and undercut everything we did. They're there all the time. We can only be there when we're not busy. And if you notice, two things happened. The Farm Bill was essentially put into passed during the peak time of harvest when we couldn't be there. Secondly, President Reagan said all last summer and all last fall, I will not sign a farm bill that exceeds my budget that I've set aside for the USDA for that fiscal year. He turned around and signed such a bill that exceeded his budget.
Yeah.
Then he turns right around, signs Graham Rudman, and completely gutted the farm bill. Now what do we do now? There is government intervention that is harming us, not helping.
Yes. Where are you? I can't find you.
I'm back here. Turn around.
Oh, there you are. Yes, sir.
I'm not a farm. I'm from basically a farm community, and the general consensus that I get from the farmers that I talk to is the ones that stayed basically where they were at when the prices dropped. They're still doing fairly well. They're not making as much as what they were before, but it's more
to capitalize on inflation during the 70s, just like they indexed the income tax system and union contracts, so we could ride the wave with everybody else. It was not greed. There were sons brought into operations, expanding, and then we had the rug yanked out from us. The administration is trying to change the game faster than what we can keep up with the change, and then this is what we get.
Let me see if the city boy understands the rudiments of this thing. Farmland prices soared, peaked around 1980. Boy, it looked like the place to be was inland. And it is very seductive. Land doesn't have any moving parts. It's a piece of the real estate. It's always been at the center of our investment portfolios. We love it. It's a wonderful investment. And we thought that it just kept going up and up and up. We also had an administration, Nixon through Ford, saying plant post to post, didn't they?
Yeah, Ford.
And we also had increasing land values, which allowed us to borrow more money. So here comes the banker. He wasn't born yesterday either. And that's the way the system works. He lent the money. You bought the big tractors. You planted fence to fence, and the bottom fell out from under you. You're saying that's not your fault. You're also accusing the government of sort of cheerleading this kind of investment and borrowing. Is that so?
Yeah, they came out in early 70s, jumped up the acceleration or the depreciation schedule for investments to entice people to get in and borrow.
Right. Now your mission, I think I get this. I think I do. You have to convince the American people that there's something in it for them to preserve what you call the family farm, so celebrated in movies recently. Boy, we just love to watch your courage, and we feel for you during the auction. But I don't know how much we're willing to go into a paycheck that's already been withered by taxes in order to save the family farm when we don't see any immediate pain if we lose it. That's your public relations problem.
But do you want food? When it comes right down to it, farmers are providing the food, and then what?
Yeah, do we want corporations running, completely in charge of our food system? We've got corporations now that have given us $600 toilet seats. The Love Canal.
We had corporations in charge of the American automobile industry, and look what happened to that, too.
But what's a farm crisis now may turn into a food crisis in the 90s. And
So you're saying save our farm because the big guys are going to rip you off later.
Yes.
All right. I'll give you a chance, I promise. We're in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and we'll be back in just a moment.
First, I noticed the aroma. Then I saw it. New French leaf from Pillsbury. A French leaf so crisp, incredible. And then suddenly, it disappeared without a trace.
New crusty French loaf.
Leaf.
One of them's gold.
How about some coffee? It's decaffeinated.
Half a cup's fine.
You drink decaf.
Sure, and when I find one that's got a full flavor, I'll have a full cup.
This one does.
Brim?
It's got full, rich flavor.
Now this is a fine. Fill it to the rim.
With a full, rich taste of Brim decaffeinated coffee.
Furniture, where quality, value, and professional assistance come together. East end of Newton. Take I-80 exit 168.
Agriculture is the strength of Iowa. We all rely on it, and right now some of our friends on the farm need help. Because Charter Community Hospital is committed to serving our entire community, we provide free medical care in our hospital to financially stressed farm families in central Iowa. No questions asked and no payback expected. If you or someone you know could benefit from the Charter for Farm Families program, just call us. We're here to help.
Concerned about as a college student is that, well, people are so concerned, why should I care? The tax structures need to be fixed because the budget cuts are affecting everybody. Students' tuitions are getting hiked drastically. The farmers are going out of business. The students can't go to college. I think the source of the problem will be fixed if the tax structures are fixed.
Okay, what we don't
Yeah, go ahead.
What we don't understand as dumb farmers is how come there's only 4 cents worth of corn in a box of cornflakes, and the box of cornflakes sells for almost $2 a box, and that's more than what the support price is going to be for corn next year to seal at $1.92.
Yeah. Is that the point you wanted to make, sir? Is that your okay? I've got a gentleman with a box of cornflakes, and if we don't get him on, I'm going to need security to get out of here. Please raise your hand so we can find you here. This is, all right, hang on, we'll get to you in just 1 second. Stay here with me for a second.
One of the biggest problems we have today
over here, David,
is the mixed signal that our farm organizations are sending out to the general public. For instance, the president of our largest farm organization says that the only way our farmers can survive is to have a job on the side outside the farm. And I say we have too many people outside the farm, in the farm business, that are using the tax write-off to beat us.
Right. You talk about business now. Business people.
I'd like to know why this same largest farm organization has to contribute 3 paragraphs of its 86 resolutions trying to take away from the American unions. What business is theirs, what the union people are doing? Who wants to make $6 an hour and pay $4 a pound for steak?
Right. The cornflakes man, you're on, sir.
Don't complain about the farmer when you have a full stomach. This sold this week in Cedar Rapids for $1.19 on special. The farmer got less than 5 cents for the amount in the $1.19 box. If you would double his price of corn, you'd only pay 4 and 8 cents more. Don't talk about subsidizing the farmer. The man that printed the box made more than the man that grew the corn.
What we really need is what we really need is...
Wait a minute. Go back to this. You're not finished now. Wait a minute. Now, how'd we get here? Maybe you'll give us your wisdom on that.
When they had the PIC program 3 years ago, there was a $50,000 limit to any farmer. John Block said, it's not money, it's just grain. They opened the granary doors, and corporate farms in Iowa gave one man in northern Iowa enough money that he bought a defunct bank in Bloomfield, Iowa. The bankers the corporation farms that cashed in on the PIC program, there are Farm Bureau leaders that are having auctions in the next 2 weeks in this Lynn County. They're the ones that told us the marketplace was going to solve the problem. Why are they getting out of farming?
Yeah, why?
Phil?
Yeah.
Yes.
That $50,000 limit he's referring to in 1983 PIC was declared illegal in 1984.
Right. But it was already too late. The big guys picked the cream of the pick.
Right. And the other thing, that comment the guy made about the tax system, Iowa used to be, I think, near #1 in cattle feeding. I want to hear how many people in this audience used to feed cattle. Clap. Chances are they're not feeding cattle anymore because of the tax investors that are farming the tax code in the cattle market down in the high plains of Texas, Kansas, Oklahoma, and they're shipping the grain down here to do it, and we're losing jobs here in Iowa, and the revenue from it, and the balance revenues coming from the U.S. tax code, and Phil, that's you.
Sir.
Why do we have a double standard when
the automobile industry raises their price, it is wonderful. When anything else goes up, it's wonderful. If farm prices go up a nickel, oh my God, what horrible inflation we have. What we really need is the 1985 tax, the tax reform bill. We need the Reagan #1 tax plan, which eliminates tax loss farming. We also need the 1985 farm bill that Senator Harkin put through, which is called the Family Farm Protection Act.
How do you feel about the grain embargo?
How do you feel about the Carter's grain embargo?
Yeah, well, any grain embargoes, period, the effect.
I don't like them. There were 2 of them that I'm aware of since I started farming. It's either Nixon or Ford put one on, and then Carter. What amazed me is Carter still believes it did some good.
Phil,
Probably why he didn't get reelected.
let me comment on that in generalities, that the loss of market over the years, the international market, has been one of the major factors in this depressed thing that we're in. It all relates back again to the federal deficit. I can remember Bangladesh. Do we all remember when that was a country that we all had heartfelt things for and sent food? That is now a self-sufficient country in providing food. We lost that market. We've lost other markets, and until the government can control this deficit,
it is true.
$1 trillion budget, why then we're going to have great difficulty in finding markets, even if we get the production capacity that we think we need.
Phil, just 1 second. In 1947, I bought corn for $2.80 a bushel. Last week, I was settled up for corn that I sold at $1.80 a bushel. You people know the difference in the cost of things that we buy over that period of time.
Phil, it's bad now, but we need to get beyond
The gentleman with his corn flakes. We get 43 cents a pound for any pork. Bacon is $1.98, $2.39. Where is that money going in between? The middleman. The middleman is making the money. Here we produce it. We have to pay a certain price for whatever they say feed is worth. Corn is worth so much. We've got all our money tied up in it, and we cannot say what we have to even break even, let alone make a profit.
I'd like to address the issue that's come up before about, over here, Phil.
Yeah, go ahead.
To your left. The issue of, we've talked about farming being a business, and why don't farmers treat themselves like other business people? And the thing I'd like to say is we have to set some priorities. Somebody mentioned the fact that we spend 17% of our disposable income on food, and I think that it's a priority to everybody in this nation to spend that proportion and not much higher on their food bill. And I think it's a lack of foresight. People think the farmers got themselves into this mess, and I think that corporations are going to be in the same mess like in 10 to 15 years, or maybe 5 to 10 years, when the Japanese and the cheap labor start affecting the computer market, mainframe computers. It is bad, but we've got to get beyond our grief. I cried when I lost my job with a farm supplier. I cried when my dad sold the cattle and had to plow up land that had been pasture for years and years. But it's time to move beyond grieving. We've got to think of the plans of action, and we've got to be ready to move in a united force.
What would you do first? What's the first move?
The first move is to start listening to people like Dr. Wayne Overly, who have ideas, who've developed plans that can work, can join people together and get us acting on our own behalf instead of waiting for the government or somebody else to bail us out. Nobody else can do it. We have to act, and we've got to act now.
Hold it, please. Over here.
All the fuss and furor and the agony and all the diversions there is about legislation and all these proposed solutions, and there's one been standing there since the year I was born, 1922, the Capper-Volstead Act, that enables farmers to legally price their production in a cooperative manner. It's as American as apple pie. It's legal, effective, fair. It has a
consumer protection clause in it that will prevent farmers from ever gouging the American consumer.
And how is the product brought to
It's simple. It's a long-established farm organization, the National Farmers Organization, the NFO. It's been there. It's standing in place, ready to serve the farmers anytime enough of them want to put the production to act like businessmen for a change instead of beggars in the marketplace.
Bill?
You know,
Bill?
Yeah.
One of the things that people can do right now, corporate-wise, and public-wise, to move and make some action, is the public themselves. Stop going to the local burger stand that is getting their beef that's raised in South America, Mexico. Let's bring it back to the United States. We've got lots of farmers right here that need their beef sold, and we can take that hamburger and put it into the burger stands.
We have gathered here in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, almost 10,000 people who clearly care about not only their livelihood, but they're saying yours as well. And we'll be back in just a moment.
Nutrition begins at the beginning, and the need for good nutrition continues all the days of your life. Campbell's makes nutrition easy as ABC. Campbell's Nutrition, natural foods, nutritious snacks, and vitamins for all the years of your life.
I was hot on Snack Pack's trail. It was disguised in a new plastic pack. Aha! Back home, my partner investigated further. It opened easily. He sniffed out the chocolatey aroma, discovered the smooth, creamy taste. I detected it was made fresh with milk. It was Snack Pack pudding, all right. The case of the new easy open pack was closed.
I think we should reopen it, Mom.
Golden light leads your taste to a fresh new place where tender garden vegetables and rich cheeses are touched by golden light. Golden light. Crisp vegetables, mellow cheeses, delicately breaded to heat in the oven and melt in your mouth. Lead your taste to a fresh new place. Golden light from Hormel.
In the next session of Divorce Court.
Tests showed that our baby had Down syndrome.
I knew that Abby couldn't cope with a child that wasn't perfect.
I reached out for Charles, but our marriage was in ruins.
She wouldn't let me touch her. It made her sick to even think about making love to me again.
Alice would be wandering around hungry and dirty, and he constantly yelled at her.
I did my best. I tried. That's more than Abby ever did.
Divorce Court, weekday mornings at 10 on 5 TV.
Of farmers being forced off their land have bombarded us through our television screens. In Plattsburgh, Missouri, the foreclosure of a farmer who had been on the land for 52 years erupted in violence.
Yeah. I'll tell you this, there's not too many of us can't empathize with what it must be like to see somebody with a badge come rolling up your driveway. I mean, and you're looking at your wife and you're saying, what did we do to deserve this? Mr. Meriwether, you're the banker. You know, we really should hear from you. Sure. You foreclose because you can't give them more. You extend as far as you can, and then occasionally you have to foreclose because why?
Because I think we have the regulation problem in banking requiring capital requirements. We have the protection, safety, and soundness of depositors' money. And it's really as
not to foreclose is to be unfair to the rest of your depositors? Is that the point?
That's part of the problem. And I'd I'd like to say, while I have the opportunity, at one point, is that the bankers of this state grew up in the communities that they serve for the most part, went to school with the people that are their customers, sit in church with them on Sunday, and to not just foreclose, but to advise throughout this very difficult period that foreclosure may be imminent, or the farm may be gone, or those kind of things, is a very, very stressful situation for that banker as well as for their farm customers. And I think that needs to be said.
Yeah, over here, please.
I personally think that each one of us who go to work at a 7 to 3:30 job should thank the farmer because they enable us to have all the free time that we have.
Phil, what is it? Phil?
Go ahead.
Earlier you said that these airwaves were ours.
I did say that, yeah.
A lot of our competitors have used these airwaves to talk the American people out of eating our wholesome red meat and farm products, i.e. Jane Fonda, the American Medical Association, and others. I think it's high time we use this meeting to sell our products and get the people eating the delicious food that we produce out here on Iowa's farms.
Well,
let me...
The place to get our money to retire these loans is out of the marketplace. But I want to tell you folks, you'll never get it going there by yourself saying, what are you going to give me? You got to get together with your neighbor and you got to, sell together. And as the gentleman indicated a little while ago, there's an organization out here that has the framework all set up. All we're waiting for the rest of you fellas to participate with the program and we can move the prices tomorrow.
Yeah, what would you do if you had? Let's get this in. You know, you are not famous for marching in lockstep, farmers, and you should probably be proud of that. It means you think for yourself. But your failure to coalesce in this crisis is part of your problem. If you could get the kind of unity that would really make noise, what would you do?
We're not interested in making a lot of noise. We're interested in moving the production in a block form, in a systemized way.
Would you withhold?
It's not necessary to withhold at this point in time. It's a matter of moving the production through the market system, managing your supply.
I think that's critical, Phil, because farmers are the only industry that do not have the opportunity to manage our supply. If we grow too much stuff one year, the next year we should have the vehicle to trim down the next year's production to meet its demand, just like General Motors and John Deere and IBM do. If they have too much inventory, they trim down a plant. I'm getting very sick and tired of hearing people say that we have too many farmers, like you alluded to at the start.
I did, yeah.
Phil?
Part of that problem is a misconception from the business world, and including Washington, is pure rhetoric, that if you get rid of some of the farmers, you get rid of some of the production and take the land out of production, just like when you shut down a factory, you trim off part of the supply. It doesn't work that way.
Larger farms pick up your property and there goes, and the yield remains the same.
And it's right back in the marketplace, and it's there staring you face the next year.
Over here.
As a social worker, and working through this administration that says they're very pro-family, and yet I think the policy decisions are very clear that we have big defense budget and very low pro-family budget.
Right.
Additionally, on the main floor, as a small-town banker's daughter and as a social worker who works with farmers who are hurting, I think this crisis has been framed very poorly as a farm crisis. It is a mid-America crisis and a rural crisis. So I don't think we should have any trouble standing up and working together here and saying very clearly, let's be pro-family, but let's put our money on the line.
I'm down here on the main floor.
Okay.
I guess I think it's fairly obvious that we have a large supply and a small demand here. And if we think that the larger corporations or the government is going to pave the way for us, we are very mistaken. I feel that we can't sit around and wait for these things to happen. We have to get out there and develop our own markets, join the kind of organizations and support the kind of organizations that are working for this. I'm a very strong member of the Iowa Pork Council Women. I'm a very proud member of that. And we're really working to develop a red meat market so that we can sell our product and earn our own money. We don't want charity. Let's all get out there and work hard for what we want.
Down here, sir. You've been waiting. Yes, sir. You've got it.
Yes, I want to...
Down here in the end zone, please.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I want to talk about the banking situation. Unfortunately, everybody has too much greed in the country. But going back to bankers today, or the loaning agencies, we need them, of course. But we have the people today that are in trouble are not the ones that have the 10% money borrowed at the bank. They're the ones that have the 15% money. Somewhere we need to do something. We talk too much, but there's no action. Somewhere along the line, the person that does not have the net worth behind him, we need to give him the 10% money, right along with the guy that has no risk. And unfortunately, that isn't the situation. When I first started farming, my dad had his money back in those days at 6%. Hell, it cost me 8%. I needed the break. He didn't, but that's the way it is. Somewhere along the line, we ought to do something with that interest and help those that need the help.
It's very hard to administer that, however, on an equity basis. But I might mention
Mr. Merriweather,
that there are two proposals, one which is Senator Boschwitz and Senator Grassley's proposal at the federal level, and Governor Branstad's proposal in Iowa for a buy-down interest rate program.
But isn't that a Band-Aid, Mr. Merriweather? I'm not saying we don't want it. I'm saying that's hardly long-term.
That may be a Band-Aid because this thing has grown into proportions.
By buy-down, you mean knock down that interest 2 points, and then the bank knocks it down, a matching 2 points with federal help. Is that a loan?
And the banks won. And I think that those proposals will get a hard look to do what that gentleman is asking about. But understand, and this won't be a popular statement, but understand, to administer an interest program, a credit program, equitably in the banking system is very difficult because those that you would like or find it necessary to buy down or give lower rates to cash flow might be one thing, but the other people are coming on top of you wanting those same kind of rates, and you begin to buy down to nonprofit
and then the bank
into the
survive.
Capital of the bank, and then of course the bank does not survive.
We are in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. We'll be back in a moment.
I want a laxative that's natural and works overnight.
There's only one there.
This one?
No.
These aren't natural.
Neither's that.
Natural fiber.
But they can take up to 3 days to work.
3 days? Well, that leaves Gentle Nature. I've never heard of it.
Gentle Nature's new from X-Lax, a natural vegetable tablet that works overnight. It's gentle, it's natural, it's new Gentle Nature.
Natural and overnight.
Renowned orchestra leaders and singing stars like these made some of the single most famous records of all time during the big band years and shortly after. And now, from those golden years of recording, here are 50 of the most famous records ever made. For the first time in one collection, the most famous big band records ever made. Plus, the most famous records by the unforgettable singing stars of yesterday.
Unforgettable.
Joe Stafford's timeless classic.
Long ago and far away.
Eddie Howard's famous hit.
To each his own, to each.
Beloved Kitty Callan.
Little things mean a lot.
You'll enjoy 50 all-time recording classics. You get the legendary group's most famous hits.
If I didn't care.
50 timeless songs. Every record is full length. 50 of the most famous records ever made. A never-before-offered treasury. Your only chance to get these 50 recordings of timeless beauty. Order now before the offer ends.
Mail 1998 to Big Band Classics, Box 10422, Des Moines, Iowa, 50306. You get all 50 famous hits on 3 records, 3 cassettes, or 3 8-track tapes for only $6.66 each. This offer will end with no advance notice, so mail 1998 to Big Band Classics, Box 10422, Des Moines, Iowa, 50306.
This is fun. This is a way of life.
And I guess I carried that attitude with him. It's the only thing I want to do, and it's the only really down-to-earth thing I want to do. And it's hard to have that type of an attitude and then lose a farm.
That is, as you recognize, Richard Hauser. This is from The End of the Road. This is a documentary produced by KMTV in Omaha, Nebraska. Thank you for, my gosh, your own media has not abandoned you here in the breadbasket of our country. And Mr. Hauser was called to our attention by way of that, I thought, very, very well-constructed documentary. I just, one more time, Mr. Hauser, there isn't an American who doesn't admire your interest in this legacy, in this heritage, in the family farm. But there are some people out there that don't want to be called cold-hearted to say to you that there were family companies that sold running boards, and they're gone. There were family companies that sold cranks for Model Ts, and they're gone. It is about the changing landscape of America. We want you to be a thriving, you are married once, family man, you're everything we base our whole country on. We don't want you economically dependent. But how in the world, against the fact that we have already spent more money on this so-called farm problem than ever before in history, can you expect the American people to stand up and say, yeah, here's some more. We want you to have your family farm?
Well, first of all, the money they gave us didn't work. It's obvious. If you throw money at a problem and do not attempt to fix the problem will keep coming back. And that's exactly what's been happening.
Mrs. Hauser.
Phil?
Let Mrs. Hauser in, please.
Yeah. We lost our first farm we'd ever bought. It was 80 acres. I guess our age had a little bit to do with that. By the time we got there, we just bought at the wrong time. But there is a lot of devastation of loss. You go through a great deal of hurt. And
it must be awful. I can't imagine anything worse than to have some guy in a uniform come up and take your house. Has got to be the ultimate nightmare. Nobody's denying that.
It's not anything that happens overnight, though. You're with this for months, days before it even happens. You're working up to it, and you're just, the depression is there. One day you're okay, the next day you're down, and you're trying to raise your children. You're trying to keep this, a family life together with your children, and then it's still just there.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Interest rates are still too high.
Where are you? Here. Where are you, interest rates? Oh, there you are, up there in the, yes, ma'am.
Paul Volcker keeps the interest way up, and that causes a high dollar, which in turn keeps us from exporting our products, and the farmer gets hit from both ends. He has to pay a high interest when he borrows the money, and then he doesn't get anything for his product because we can't export, and we can't export.
Yeah, but he's trying to control inflation.
Right.
He'd give you a better speech than I'm going to, but he's claiming that if you take the lid off, then you get runaway inflation, and you're not going to be, you've got as many problems then, certainly on the farm, as you'd have today.
I can make a better speech than that. I can address it better than that. You're questioning the high interest rates, the present high interest rates.
In the end zone down here, yes, ma'am.
Right now, the government of the United States is living under a $200 million deficit.
200 billion, yes.
200 billion, I'm sorry. Now ask yourself how much our government spends on weapons. And it's $300 billion a year. And that's why interest rates are high.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, but I have a feeling that conclusion has come very, very hard to farmers.
It's come slow, but it's there.
Yeah, I know that. You really did. You supported the president. You can't get elected to Congress if you don't promise more defense spending.
You can't do that now, though.
The Russians are coming. We got to have all these missiles.
You can't scare me anymore.
Right below you.
Scare me anymore.
You voted in overwhelming.
Phil, right below you.
President Reagan told you what he was going to do, and he carried Iowa comfortably.
Did you ever stop and consider that President Reagan might be lying to the American public so that he can keep Cap Weinberger suffering for it.
General Dynamics is back in business, you know.
You bet
they were
they are.
suspended for stealing your money, and now because they're the only people that can make a boat, they got the business back. Where is your indignation for that?
Phil, she's full of it. She's full of indignation. She's from the city. I know her personally.
She is?
She's trying to convert a bunch of...
Wait a minute. We're over here. We're over here.
She's trying to convert a bunch of farmers to what she's saying. We need more and more to come to the realization that we got to get more farms and less arms. It's ridiculous. And Phil...
Yeah, what is?
Phil.
You know what, Father? Are you a priest, Father?
Yes.
Well, then I don't want to interrupt you, Father, but hang on just one second.
Phil, your bishops and mine for years have been saying, farmers, you got to have collective bargaining. You got to bring your products together and sell them, saying, this is what we want, now will you give us? I'm getting sick and tired of being a professional mourner. I spend full time working with farmers that are like Mrs. Hauser and the rest of them, and it's ridiculous. What we got to do is say we need a price, and to stop this ridiculous thing of more and more handouts. We need a price for our product.
Father, if you guarantee a price, you guarantee inefficiency and surplus. You guarantee fence to fence.
I'm glad you asked that. Even if we had a perfect farm bill, even with collective bargaining, the farm families that I work with can't feed their kids when you got people who make thousands of dollars in the city, not like you. You don't invest in agriculture, I'm sure, as a tax write-off. But many do. They come into farming to purposely lose money. In the meantime, moms and dads can't feed their kids. The folks got to wake up to that.
Phil.
Hang on a minute.
This is interesting. Now, please don't accuse us. We passed out a piece of paper. We asked you to write down the name of a person that you would like to see elected president in 1988. We know it's early. We know there's 2 years, but Iowa plays a very important first-time chapter in American presidential politics. Boy, they cover you like a blanket. How about it? You see media here every 4 years, then they disappear. All right, let me show this. So far, we've got almost 10,000 people here, so this is just the early returns. We didn't give you any option. We just left a blank space, and we asked the following question. Who would you like to see elected president in 1988? So far, here are the early tabulations. In first place, next slide, please, Gary Hart with 450, George Bush with 246, Lee Iacocca with 240, and Mario Cuomo with 183. Those are early returns. And we'll be back to Cedar Rapids, Iowa in just a moment.
The Home and Garden Show, for everybody who wants a better place to play, entertain, show off, relax. The Home and Garden Show, for anyone who wants more space, more warmth, more fun. The Home and Garden Show, February 12th through the 16th. Spring showcase rooms, designer kitchens and bathrooms, lawn and garden care, lovely landscaped gardens, everything for your home. The Home and Garden Show, for people who are making their homes perfect.
Ethan Allen's Welcome Home Sale. Welcome home to a variety of design styles at exceptional value. Save now on all our most popular furniture and home furnishings. Everything for the home, including free design assistance. Whatever your needs, whatever your taste, you'll find a great selection of Ethan Allen home furnishings now at winter sale savings.
Carriage House, 7700 Hickman Road, open Monday and Thursday till 8 p.m.
Dr. Rick Elbert of Ames is one of those chiropractors who feels strongly about his profession's effectiveness in dealing with chronic health care problems. Within its scope, chiropractic care is unrivaled in its response to pain and stress. If you have a pain problem that involves serious discomfort or lasts, particularly one that affects the neck, spine, or lower back, I urge you to contact the Elbert Chiropractic Clinic. They maintain office hours daily, including evenings, and are pledged to a policy of accepting only those patients they sincerely believe they can help.
IRS hotspots, the areas of your tax return that will virtually guarantee what taxpayers fear most, an audit. I'm Paul Strassel. Join me and learn about the IRS hotspots for this year and how you can best prepare your tax return to avoid an IRS audit.
Paul Strassel's special tax reports exclusively on Iowa News Tonight at 10. 5 TV. We're bringing you your news.
We're back. Yes, ma'am.
I would suggest that America hangs their flags upside down because this is a distress signal that America is in trouble. And what I have to say, I am afraid that your studio will not record tomorrow. And I need to express it because what is behind this whole movement is a conspiracy, and it has to do with international bankers, and I want to be heard, and I don't have time to say it right now.
Well,
stay on your network.
I'll tell you this, there's an awful lot of people out there trying to exploit your agony with even further exploitation of other.
Bill, would you like to invest in a nice little farm in northeast Iowa?
We're in Cedar Rapids, and we'll be back in just a minute.
Mom's got an inch on me. And I intend to keep it. So to supplement my diet, I take Avail.
Avail is the calcium-intensive multivitamin.
Calcium helps keep bones strong and straight.
But most women don't get enough, even if they take one of these multivitamins, because all these, put together, don't contain as much calcium as Avail.
Once you've seen the available facts, your multivitamin will be Avail.
Calcium-intensive Avail.
Agriculture is the strength of Iowa. We all rely on it, and right now some of our friends on the farm need help. Because Charter Community Hospital is committed to serving our entire community, we provide free medical care in our hospital to financially stressed farm families in central Iowa. No questions asked and no payback expected. If you or someone you know could benefit from the Charter for Farm Families program, just call us. We're here to help.
Michael, it's time for your medicine.
The registered pharmacists at Kmart fill over 20 million prescriptions each year.
It isn't going to taste sticky, is it?
Professionals using brand name pharmaceuticals or generic equivalents were allowed.
Okay, I'm ready.
That's quality you can trust at a Kmart price.
Now, that wasn't so bad, was it?
Not bad for medicine.
You can't do better.
Here at the Silas Thorndike Academy, our boys display exemplary behavior. Occasionally, we do have an outbreak of high-spiritedness. When these little mishaps occur, we rely on Brawny. It's new.
Brawny!
It's the largest towel you can buy, and it's strong enough to handle even the toughest jobs. Thanks ever so much, Brawny.
Anytime, Teach.
New Brawny, the big tough towel.
Here it comes again, the original Ember's Blockbuster Breakfast. Brace yourself, because you can once again have breakfast 24 hours a day for just $1.99, and they mean a blockbuster breakfast. 2 eggs, 3 pancakes, 2 slices of bacon, 2 sausages, and what's more, you'll also get hash browns with melted cheese. The 24-hour breakfast meal deal, 7 days a week, just $1.99 at Ember's Family Restaurant. Available at all Ember's locations, where your satisfaction is guaranteed.
We are grateful to KGAM for putting this together for us here at Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Also, we will be back tomorrow. We will be back tomorrow to talk with a senator and others from other states.
Bill, let me
could I make a point?
Let me get,
Mr. Meriwether, sir.
Let me quickly say that a lot of conversation has been to the accountability of government today. We also have an accountability. Let's remember not only what goes
provided
on
and promotional fees paid by the following.
Let's all remember to go.
He came to the station when I was recording it, started hitting me.
In a club called the Devil's Den. He was singing the last